Hi everybody. How are you doing today? How are things? I hope good. I hope you're very kind and you're very loving towards yourself. And I hope you're very compassionate towards yourself. This weekend, something that happened in the world um, made me a little weary, a little concerned. So I wanted to share today a dream that I had a while ago. And it was more, I say dream because I was sleeping while I had that experience, but it was more of a potential future of humankind in the sense of where are we going and what is going to happen to us. So I want to share what I saw or what has been shown to me to help us understand that we always have a choice. We always have a choice for a future that is loving, a future that is a world where we live good and we flourish and we live together and where there is not massive destruction. So, what I want to share is that future, that dream of our potential future. Our future can always be, it's not set in stone, like never. We can always jump timelines. We can always decide where we want to go, how that place shall look like. And that decision comes from within, like here. How do we feel about ourselves? That is what we project into our future and our present moment. So, I was dreaming that we were in the future, very, very, very far in the future. And the dream started with having like a bird's eye perspective on Earth. And I could see how several spaceships were about to approach the Earth and land on Earth. So that was the first perspective. And then I kind of got zoomed in into one of the spaceships. And then I was zoomed in into one of the beings on the spaceship. And when I kind of got into the being that was visiting Earth on that spaceship in the future, I could see that the color of my hand was different. I was different. I looked very different. It had something elfish, I would say. Like I felt like I looked like an elf, but my skin was blue. And there were many other beings that looked very much different. Like none of them looked actually like a human being. They were all different beings from different places in the galaxy coming together on the spaceship to visit Earth. So that's the context. So when I was that elfish being and I was male and I was approaching Earth on the spaceship, I could remember instantaneously that at one point I was a human being. I incarnated in a previous lifetime as a human being on Earth. I remembered that like this. It was as if those future beings have a state of consciousness where they can access that immediately. So I knew like I'm here now in the future. I'm an elf and I'm visiting this Earth, and in a previous lifetime I was one of the Earthlings. So we landed on Earth and we all got somehow guided to a place where we could kind of look what happened to Earth, or what is its remains. Like when you go, for example, on vacation in Europe, I don't know, maybe Greece, and you go and visit an old temple, or the remains of a temple, and you get information what happened and how people lived. It was something like that. So we were guided through an area, and we were explained what happened, and there were many other people, and some of them were just sitting and having something to eat and talk to each other, and everything was very peaceful. There were no, I couldn't really see any earth beings. Really, there were a lot of beings, but they were all looking differently. I cannot remember seeing any other earth beings, but I remember that we were a lot of beings. I want to say people, but it's like beings that were walking around, sitting there, talking to each other, remind each other of the history of Earth and what happened to Earth. And it was really very peaceful. And as far as I can remember, the purpose of other beings visiting Earth was to not only remind them what happened, but as well to build something new on its remains. And what happened was that war on Earth got so destructive that it kind of erased humanity. And all that was left were ruins, nothing more, just bare ruins. And the other beings from other galaxies, from other planets, were coming to remind them of how potentially dangerous it is to walk in destruction with each other, being destructive with each other, or being destructive with oneself. They were reminded how important it is to find a way to be loving towards us, compassionate towards ourselves, and to practice that not only on ourselves, but on others. So the visitors who came, they were reminded of that guiding light, I would say. It's one of my guiding lights, of that guiding light. Where do we actually want to go? How do we get there? And what kind of world do we want to build? And how do we build a world where we don't destroy each other, but we really create a loving world for each other? And being that elf with blue skin in that lifetime showed me how he lived, how he felt, and how he walked through life. And it gave me a perspective of how future civilizations are living with each other in a way that they don't destroy each other. And the way he felt and the way he interacted with others was very soft. It was very non-competitive, like no competition with each other. And it was clear that his life was not about achieving anything or getting anything done or having goals or being pushed toward that goal or being pushed to make money and make a living and getting into an economic system that makes you feel as if you're not safe. So they managed through being able to walk in his body and get all these ideas and ways of living. I could see that they achieved a certain way of being and living and created a civilization that is truly based on being in communion and not in a competitive way towards each other. They achieved to figure out a way to get out of a monetary system in order to survive. They achieved that somehow. But mostly what they achieved is to really be in peace with themselves. That is what I felt like with every being that was just sitting there and trying to kind of get Earth back to life in a more loving way. Like they were witnessing what happened in the past and explained what happened, but they were trying as well to truly bring Earth back to life, but this time in a way that it's really loving. It's a world where we can exist together without destroying each other. And it started with how they felt within themselves. And with that elf that I was, I could see life is not a threat. This is what I felt. It's like life is not a threat. It's not about worries. It's not about competition. It's not about punishing yourself. It's not about bettering yourself either. It was just okay the way you are. And that caused a very different vibration. So that was the dream. And what I would like you to think about or to explore, or I invite you to explore, is the feeling of the moments when you feel most agitated or frustrated, or like you don't know how to process things or how to go on in life or what to do, is to let that be in peace. Try to not get involved or engaged with those heavy emotions, but try just for maybe 2 minutes to breathe, like deeply into your belly and out. Let everything go. You can do it with me right now. It's like breathe in deep into the belly and out. One more time. Feels a little bit different, a little bit better. The feeling you get when you breathe is your guiding light for life. The destructive, intrusive thoughts and forces cannot take over our loving beings. We have to put a stop to that and understand how valuable, how precious our life is, our soul. We as beings, we as humans, we are as a community. We are precious. Our lives are precious. And it's good to honor that by simply saying no to destructive thoughts, emotions, and just let them go. You can say no. You are allowed to say no. We invite love, and I invite you to do that for yourself. Take good care. Bye.